Engage Dashboard offers two datasets. At the top of the page, managers can see their live absence data for today, and at the bottom, period absence statistics are shown. Both datasets can be filtered down by department at the top of the page. Let's take a closer look. Here I can see how many open absences there are. Most of these are ongoing, which means they were logged before today. But the donut chart also shows how many are newly registered today. If I click on the new absences, I'm taken to the list to view the details. Most of the dashboard tiles are interactive like this, so do click around. Do you know what your daily absence count means in financial terms? Here you can see how the time lost to absence converts to a cost to the business. The calculation is based on your company's cost per day lost value. This is set in the company preferences, and you can watch tutorial 36 to find out more. Hopefully, your company uses return to work interviews to support employees back to work after an absence. This tile shows you how many absentees are returning today, how many interviews are still pending for today, and any that have slipped the net prior to today. Click on the heading to view the tasks in more detail. If you manage to complete the tasks within 1 week of the employee's return, which we very much recommend, then you'll see the completion statistics rise after every completed task. Honeydew recommends aiming to complete more than 50% of return to work interviews on the employee's first day back at work and 100% within the first week back. Engage can also be used to record other tasks. Your policy trigger points should prompt an automatic absence review task, and you'll see the status of these tasks in the next tile. New review meeting tasks will be awaiting the manager to schedule a meeting date on the left. Booked meetings will be shown in the upcoming status in the middle, and any tasks that are overdue will be here on the right. Again, click on the heading to view the absence review tasks. You might also use Engage to schedule outbound welfare calls, to consider OH referral, or to authorize sick pay. If that's the case, the open tasks are shown in the next tile with links to each type of task, so you can jump right in. Going back to the left, there are some important flags to keep a lookout for. These highlight absence records you should review. Absentees with expected return dates in the past may have returned to work but forgotten to close their absence. That'll skew your absence data. Click on the link to see the offending records. It's a good idea to keep track of sick notes on the absence records. If a sick note becomes overdue, you might need to remind the employee to send you another one. It's best practice to stay in touch with absent employees. If the absence record hasn't been updated in more than 2 weeks, Engage will highlight that here. Take a look at the names and consider giving them a call. It's a great reminder to maintain personal contact with someone who's been off for a longer time. This flag does not count management tasks relating to the absence. It only looks at direct updates to the absence details, logged by a Honeydew contact center or by a manager using the absence update form. And if you're wondering what your absence level is today, take a look on the right side. This slider shows what proportion of your workforce is recorded absent today. If you're interested in seeing a more accurate absence level percentage that takes into account the employee work patterns, click on Show Absence Charts. The charts that appear show 1 month's data to start off with. If you want to change that, use the Period Selection menu. Remember that you can also use the Department selection at the top of the page to set what data is shown in the charts. The first chart shows your absence level, calculating lost time as a proportion of available working time based on the employee's work patterns. The Sunburst chart echoes that absence cost figure we looked at earlier at the top of the page, but this time the cost value is counted over the whole period and not just today. Your absence causes will be classed as medical, non-medical, or authorized. If you click on any of these items, you'll see the top 5 absence categories, and under those, the top 5 absence reasons are revealed. If you're interested in even more granular data, click again to see the absences that make up that number. Note that some of these absentees may have returned to work already, especially if you select a long period for your data. At the top of the dashboard, we showed key performance indicators for completing return to work interviews within 1 week. That data is fixed to a 30-day reference period. Here, at the bottom of the dashboard, you can see a longer period task completion rate. Of course, you'll want the green segment to be the largest and the grey dismiss segment to be tiny. Tasks should only be dismissed with good reason. Click on any segment to see the data underneath. For example, the dismissal reasons can be audited here. If there are too many tasks to check one by one, you also have access to this data on the comprehensive report. New absence by weekday will reveal if your organization suffers from Monday-itis. It's a very common complaint in most large organizations. You can also use this chart to home in on employees who might be more tempted than others to take the day off after a big football event or the year's busiest absence day, 2nd of January. Just set your period to 1 week if you want to see the data for a specific date. Each vertical bar is a link to a list of absentees. Finally, the short and long-term chart changes view between the number of spells and the number of days lost to short and long-term absences. To benchmark your data here, normally the long-term segment covers roughly 1/3 of the pie in terms of spells and 2/3 of lost time. If you want to review the long-term cases, click on the segment for a shortlist.